Hello and welcome to Outside Views. I'm Mark, and today we're examining a truly pivotal moment in recent European history, and that's Brexit's impact. Is it a catalyst for EU change? The UK's departure from the European Union was unprecedented, a seismic event that sent shockwaves across the continent and beyond. But did this monumental split ultimately lead to the EU's undoing, or did it in fact spur the Union to adapt, evolve, and perhaps even strengthen? Let's dive into this fascinating case study. The 2016 referendum was a watershed moment in EU history, marking the beginning of the UK's withdrawal after decades of membership. It was a decision born from a complex interplay of factors, including national sovereignty, immigration concerns, economic grievances, and a lot of lies involved. And following the vote, the negotiation process that ensued was complex and often contentious. It was a period fraught with political tensions as both sides grappled with untangling decades of integration and economic uncertainty as businesses and citizens braced for an unknown future. The final departure saw the UK formally exit the EU in January 2020, followed by the end of the transition period in December 2020. And this raised profound questions about the future of both the EU and the UK, and indeed the very nature of European integration. The economic consequences of Brexit have been a major point of discussion, and they extend beyond the UK. Trade disruption has been a clear outcome. The UK's exit from the EU single market and customs union created new barriers to trade, including customs checks, regulatory divergences, and increased paperwork. And this has affected businesses on both sides of the channel, adding costs and complexities to supply chains and reducing trade volumes, particularly for UK goods exports to the EU. Financial uncertainty has also lingered. The economic impact of Brexit is ongoing, with implications for investment, growth, and employment across Europe. While the EU economy as a whole has absorbed the shock, certain member states with close trade ties to the UK have felt a greater impact. The future of the City of London, the UK's financial hub, has also been a key consideration. While it has faced challenges due to the loss of passporting rights that allowed easy access to EU markets, it has also sought new opportunities globally, though its share of total UK financial services exports to the EU has declined, and there's still the euro clearing discussion going on. And beyond economics, Brexit has had significant political implications for the EU. Initially, there were fears that Brexit would fuel the rise of Euroscepticism across Europe, potentially leading to a domino effect of other countries seeking to leave. However, this widespread fear largely did not materialize. Instead, the complexities and perceived downsides of Brexit for the UK appeared to temper the appetite for similar exits in other member states. And this has prompted a nuanced debate about the future of EU integration. Some within the EU have advocated for deeper integration, believing that a more unified approach is necessary to tackle global challenges and strengthen the bloc's resilience. Others, however, argue for greater flexibility, suggesting a multi-speed Europe where member states can choose different levels of integration. Brexit has also altered the EU's position on the global stage. Without the UK, one of its major military and diplomatic powers, the EU has needed to adapt and reassert its influence in foreign policy and defense, often pushing for greater cooperation among the remaining 27 members. Despite the challenges, Brexit has undeniably presented opportunities for reform within the EU. It has highlighted the need for strengthening the EU's internal market. The departure of a large member state has created an impetus to address existing barriers, reduce bureaucracy, and enhance competitiveness within the remaining bloc, ultimately benefiting all member states. There's also been a renewed focus on reforming EU decision-making processes. The experience of Brexit and other recent crises has underscored the importance of improving the EU's ability to respond to complex challenges more effectively and swiftly, often pushing for more unified approaches. Furthermore, Brexit has perhaps indirectly spurred the EU to focus on investing in its future. To remain competitive in a globalized world, there's an increased emphasis on long-term investments in innovation, technology, and infrastructure, ensuring the EU's continued relevance and economic strength. Brexit's legacy is complex, but it has undeniably shaped the future of the EU. The lessons learned from the challenges and opportunities presented by Brexit are actively informing future EU policy decisions, encouraging the bloc to be more agile and responsive. And perhaps the most striking outcome is the EU's resilience. Despite dire predictions from some quarters, the EU has demonstrated a remarkable ability to adapt and evolve in response to a challenge as profound as Brexit. Rather than fragmenting, it has largely remained cohesive. And this resilience has opened the potential for a stronger and more united Europe. While the road ahead will undoubtedly have its bumps, the EU seems to have emerged from the Brexit experience with a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to its foundational values. And if you want to know more about this, the next video is right here in the end screen.